Welcome back to the Convo Couch, everyone. I am Pastor Jardula.
And I'm Fiorella.
And Jonny Sue is still spinning on those ones and twos. I love it when people comment about Jonny Sue. Is he spinning on the ones and twos over there in New Hampshire? I'm like, nope. He's spinning on everything.
Ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't got a chance to go over to our ROKFIN, ROKFIN, please do. Sorry for the delay. We were working on some technical difficulties.
What?
Technical difficulties, and it looks like we do have the ROKFIN up and going. There's only 2 people over there, so we need more. The audio should be linked. So we just had to work out some problems. We've been having technical problems all week. We were in New Hampshire. There was no intranet. And fam, for a country that says, for a state that says live free or die, and they're all about their civil liberties, and there's so many libertarians, get some friggin' municipal internet. Jesus. Get some municipal internet with some upload speed, too. Not just the top one, but the bottom one. Hey, fam, when she said Republicans and Democrats, say independents and libertarians, a lot of people raise their hands.
I know, but you mentioned libertarians as much as you mentioned fam. I don't know which is bigger now.
And because it's the vote.
Ron Placone, tell him how you feel about libertarians. Anyway, I love tag teaming with Ron on that.
Beating me up.
Yeah, it's really just so much fun. Why is Blaze TV advertising on our channel?
Because of our libertarian group.
Stop with the libertarian.
The Blaze gets a lot of libertarian people. We get a lot of libs. It just happens. How's the audio sounding, Johnny? All right, so we're good. So what?
The Blaze is right wing.
We'll do this at the very end. Let's talk about the New Hampshire primary because a lot of studies came out, whatnot. Now listen, across the board, there's not one state that has open source software, and there's kind of a split between it comes to a lot of the election integrity activists. A lot of election integrity activists are going to settle for nothing less than hand counted battles at the end of the day, where there's some people who are open sourced in the open source community who want to go open source because they're like Joe Rogan, who wants to one day open source vote online. Like, we have this technology, we should be able to use it. Just because there's so many nefarious peoples one day, we got to stop, just going to every little measure where we have to count everything because we have the technology to have people vote from their home. So, I mean, there is a quagmire, but once again, nothing is open sourced across the board, not anywhere. Dominion Voting owns most of the machines around the country. But fam, this segment was the New Hampshire primary hacked? And we also got a little video that we got from New Hampshire. We're going to back up behind us and give a little explanation about what's going on. So go ahead, fam.
Okay, so there have been reportedly possible issues with voting machines. So first I came across this tweet and I was very skeptical of it. But they do have an article to back them up. Now, I'm not sure about the entirety of this whole thing, but I do want to break it down. This is from Swing Election B1, and he said, where the New Hampshire primary votes were paper ballots, the results match the exit polls. In counties where the AccuVote machines were used, Buttigieg received 27,495 votes or 34.99%, 12 points higher than his exit polls. Bernie won New Hampshire, but #Mayor Cheat did it again. Okay, so people were asking, what is the source of this? And so they have this operation, or this Mockingbird. what I don't know what the website is. It's like Mockingbird.
The
Mockingbird. And they kind of go into it about how Pete Buttigieg possibly stole the delegates in New Hampshire in the same way we predicted. And I think I outlined a particular passage here. It said so the same thing, that in counties where the AccuVote machines were used, Buttigieg received more votes. The percentage differs from the statewide number, 10.27%. And so they're saying this is a very large statistical anomaly, that in 7 counties where the votes were tabulated by hand, because as we said, the votes were both hand and then also counted via the machine. But there were counties like the one we went to in Hart's location that were only tabulated by hand. And it says Buttigieg received 40,646 votes, or 23.7%, which is a 1% difference of his final percentage. Now, 1% isn't that high, but had the percentage held across categories, Buttigieg would have gotten 8,868 fewer votes. This would have changed his overall percentage to 21.2%. Speculation only enters as calculations when we ask ourselves where the stolen votes came from. If all, or at least the statistically relevant amounts, came from number 1 and number 2 finishers, Sanders and Klobuchar, in equal amounts, the results would be Sanders at 27.44%, Klobuchar at 21.5%, and Buttigieg at 21.2%. This is what I saw initially. This is the numbers that I was like looking to get when I saw like the beginning results. This is kind of what it looked like in the beginning. Oh, Bernie Sanders is winning by a significant percentage. This seems about right. Buttigieg has some votes. Klobuchar has some votes. But this is more along what the campaign, the Bernie volunteers predicted. This does not seem like much of a change, but it alters both the national outcome in delegates to convention and the narrative. So although it's not as much percentage-wise, it would have made the difference between a couple of delegates between Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders. Now, if I were somebody that were trying to hack an election, I would do it in the most inconspicuous way as possible. I would make it look like it was done fairly, that it was done barely, that a place like New Hampshire that Bernie Sanders would have taken in a landslide, I would make it look the least suspect as possible, because it wouldn't be believable if Buttigieg came way on top, if anybody else came on top. I mean, this is Bernie Sanders. This is right next to Vermont. People from Vermont came in to help. People from New York came in to help. People from all over the place came in to help. I mean, this was supposed to be a landslide victory. And I'm not saying I'm not glad we take the win, but what I am saying is these numbers aren't adding up. And so I want to go over these machines, because these AccuVote machines have long been like they are not secure.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, they've been subject to irregularities on purpose. We're hacking.
And so there was this 2006 study, and it was done. It was also a security analysis, and this was done for the Diebold AccuVote voting machine. This one was particularly from Texas, and it was done by Ariel J. Feldman, J. Alex Halderman, and Edward F. Felton, and who found the machines prone to hacking. And I messaged one of these guys on Twitter, because I've seen that they've done videos and they've done kind of demonstrations, and that they've done NPR and talked about election security. And they've been pretty much on top of their game. But actually, I just want to go over some of the key points of this security analysis. And basically, approximately half of these counties, including all of Maryland and Georgia, will employ AccuVote, the TS model. More than 33,000 of the TS machines are in service nationwide. This is as of 2006, so I believe that's only increased.
Yeah.
And this paper basically is going to report on the study that they obtained from the machine from a private party. So they were able to obtain a machine privately and kind of break it down, analyze the software, analyze how the machine performed when they did experiments on it, when they changed the software, and they were trying to figure out whether real election practices would make it secure or not. And they found that the machines were vulnerable to a number of extremely serious attacks that undermine the accuracy and obviously the security and credibility of the counts that it produces. And this is really big. I think a lot of younger people maybe don't really know about this, because it's kind of for people who have been in the system for a long time, it's kind of like, oh, whatever. We have these machines. It's like,
it's
okay,
so
yeah,
like, it's ridiculous.
We know they're not secure.
It's ridiculous.
But what are we going to do? This is, So computer scientists, because they understand software, they understand computers, have been skeptical of the type of these systems. This system is called Direct Recording Electronic, DRE, and they're general purpose computers running a specialized election software, okay? But I just want to simplify this in a way that you guys understand. Many computer scientists have concluded that this paperless DRE can be made reliable, and that there was this famous paper by Kono, Stumpfield, and Rubin and Wallach, who studied the leak version of the source code for parts of this software, and they found many design errors in vulnerabilities in the software, and the study confirmed all of this. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's kind of go over the overall premise of it, and you guys can read it. It is by the Princeton Review. It is at citp.princeton.edu, and they have the link to the entire PDF study that is very, very detailed and going over everything from the machine to the process and how they what about it. I mean, I could sit here and talk about it, but it's really it gets really technical. So let me just kind of go over the main points.
Yeah.
So any malicious software running on a single voting machine can steal votes, okay, with little, if any, risk of detection. And this software can modify all of the records, okay, the audit logs. It can modify pretty much anything, and the counters kept by the voting machine. So even if somebody goes in and they analyze the machine and they look for it forensically, you're not going to really see anything wrong. And they constructed demonstration software that carries out this vote stealing hack, this vote stealing attack. The second thing is that anybody who has physical access to the voting machine or to the memory card that will be later inserted in the machine can install this malicious software, because as we said, and we have here in a video again, it is a SIM card that the gentleman admitted this machine has. And so they can install this malicious software using a sample, and they did this using their method, and it took as little as 1 minute to do.
Yep.
And poll workers or anybody that is in charge there have unsupervised access to these machines. So pretty much anybody with access to these machines could go insert that. It wouldn't take very long, and it would just be quickly done.
Mm-hmm.
The number 3, so the AccuVote TS machines are susceptible to voting machine viruses. So this is another thing. The guy sat there and told us, oh, this isn't hackable. They can't be, etc. But anything with a sort of SIM card, right, or a sort of software or a connection to something is going to be hackable. That's the bottom line. It's going to be. And they're susceptible to viruses, computer viruses that can, once again, spread malicious software automatically and invisibly from machine to machine during normal pre- and post-election activity. This is insane. This is crazy. How is this not like breaking news on CNN, MSNBC?
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
because it's the same old,
Yeah.
But go ahead. When you read the last one, I want to go over a few things, because we have to also talk about the chain of custody too as well. Me and Johnny used to talk about this too, about how many people really are in that chain of custody, how many people can get into these things. When Johnny read the list off, I was so surprised. I was like, holy shit, the warehouse guy. I didn't even think about it. They take these machines, they send them to a warehouse, and then they ship them out. Well, while they're sitting in that warehouse overnight, if there's a SIM card that can go into these things, they can put them anywhere. They can put bugs anywhere at any time.
Right.
And also, too, what you talked about with the exit poll. Generally, exit polls are usually within 2%. You know what I'm saying? So if they're getting out of the way of 2%, you were talking 10%. That is some really fugazi stuff. Now, needless to say, even though exit polls are really helpful to securing a proper election, the Democratic Party and the mainstream media, remember what they stopped doing, because these exit polls were so out of whack last time with Bernie Sanders, they just stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to stop exposing ourselves, and that's why they stopped it. So when you said 10% over there, that is alarming.
So just the last point, a lot of this could be eliminated by improving the software that's used, but pretty much you're going to have to replace the machine's entire hardware, the way the machine is built. So the bottom line that this study concluded was that pretty much any SIM card, any machine with a SIM card software, any of that stuff is not going to be secure. Paper ballots are the way to go. And this is from the Princeton Review, and these are people that are dedicated to doing election integrity.
Yeah.
And Johnny and Pasta are going to break down exactly how this is done, because this is the overall view. It's okay. You can take a memory card, SIM cards of memory, and you can switch it off, and you can change the entire software. You can change the answers, whatever it is. And it's very easy for somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, needless to say, whatever we talk about this company, that company, whoever, making them, it doesn't make a difference. And the fact is, it has to be our software.
Yeah.
The citizens have to take back ownership of our elections, okay? And that means not kicking it off to a company like Dominion or any of these other companies that make these products, because they always have proprietary software. So we cannot look in them because it's owned by someone else. So no matter what, we will never have secure elections until we kick that in the butt. Number two, we have to always have a paper trail no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Just because we do have open software, open source, it doesn't mean that somebody will be nefarious and get past it. So we do have to have the backup. So those are two things that need to happen. Johnny, SIM card. Do you have our video of the guy saying it first by any chance, or do you want to talk about what a SIM card is first? So now, just to say before we play this, I did reach out to the assistant to the Secretary of State and ask him about the SIM card. I haven't got an answer back yet. I asked him about the SIM card, and I also asked him about the ballot
of New Hampshire, right?
Of New Hampshire. Okay. And I haven't got an answer back yet. So,
real quick, the PDF that you were referencing, fam, it says that the AccuBit machines, they're like actual, like, how we're using the LA vote, or we're using those machines. It's like that. So those machines weren't even at the one that we were at. It was a ballot counting machine that was the one he was saying that has the SIM card. But anyways, he has here's what when he says it.
Right for the.
It's plugged in. There's no internet connection at all.
Could you take us close to look at one? No,
I'd rather not.
No,
I'd rather not. No, it's not.
There's no USB, anything in there.
No, there's no internet connection. That's what's good about New Hampshire. It's like it's fault-proof. It's people oriented. It's electronic. We actually did a hand count in January for a special election that we did, which has a whole new set of rules. But there's no internet here. There's no hacking these things. Okay, there's no hacking.
Is there an SD card that could be inserted?
No, there's no SD.
So y'all don't have anyone with SD card?
We have like a SIM card that goes in there, but it's not. There's no internet connection at all.
So right there. So he admits there's a SIM card in the ballot counting machine. So now, what is the capability of a SIM card? I mean, I did a lot of research on this. I mean, here's what this.
How many computers are in there? What would your answer be? There was actually an opening question in the university class I had, and I think it's a great question. Maybe some people would respond with 1, it's a single small smartphone computer, but maybe you knew that the SIM card is actually a tiny computer itself. Your phone computer communicates with the tiny embedded SIM card computer. And that computer can't do much, but it can do a lot more than some of you might think. In a very simple way, you can imagine this small computer to just contain a private key, and with public-private key cryptography, you can use it to authenticate to something. And the idea is that it's super hard to extract a private key from the smart card. Not comparable to the simple magnetic strip on a credit card. The private key never leaves the chip. If you want to do some crypto, your phone will communicate with the SIM card and ask it to do it, in the same way a credit card reader using the chip will do so. Nobody can clone a SIM card or credit card that way. There are attacks on smart cards, which I've touched on before with the power analysis and other crazy hardware hacks, but generally the cost is pretty high to do that. But in theory, if you could extract the private key from it, you could clone a SIM card or clone a credit card chip. So you can't clone a SIM card that easily, but what if you just steal a SIM card? Can you just use it? And that is why you need a PIN for your credit card when you use the chip, or...
It goes even more in depth, but basically the thing there is that you can copy a SIM card and get the key. So SIM cards are hackable. Why is there one in the ballot counting machine? It should only be hardware or software that's uses basic calculator, your little hand calculator, $10 hand calculator, software or hardware should be in that and nothing else. I mean, I don't know why a SIM card can freaking talk to a telephone provider. So like a telephone provider.
I was told by an election integrity activist at PASTA that their counting mechanism is not open sourced. So that's where the irregularities would take place. And once again, the guy said it's the counting machine that has the SIM card. So right there, they can sway the vote. I knew there was a reason why Tulsa didn't get enough votes.
But then
They gave him the Buttigieg family.
in certain locations, in that location, the guy says that they hand count the ballots after to verify with the machine.
Right.
And we're not sure if all the locations do that.
Yeah.
Or if they're even required to do that. And then other locations are using the AccuVote machines, which I think they just tabulate that automatically. So
Yeah, well, they said that they used the AccuVote though software in the thing we were in the school we were in.
Really?
It said AccuVote there.
Okay, yeah.
So it's maybe different versions of it. For instance, in LA, we're gonna use it's all like
Exactly. See, what propaganda is saying.
digital.
It's saying the SIM card can communicate with a network. That's what I'm saying. It's bigger than a thumb drive. It's bigger because an SD card or a thumb drive, it's the same thing. It's just memory storage. It doesn't do anything. Like you can't do it unless you could. You can't even. It needs to have a CPU. Literally, the SIM card is a CPU.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Was New Hampshire primary hacked? Possibly. It's hard to say at this point, but I wouldn't put it past it based on the evidence with these similar machines that were used and based on what happened in Iowa too. And we can talk about Iowa in a minute, but I just want to say, it's not conspiracy theory to question this. It's not.
Yep.
I mean, this has been happening for a long time. These machines have not been, reliable. They're not free of hacking like this guy is saying. He may not know. A lot of people don't know how these things work.
I don't blame that guy. That guy seemed really nice.
He seemed like a nice guy. This is not against him, but this is, just understanding that somebody could potentially, and people have hacked. We recall that 11-year-old in Florida that hacked into the voting system.
Yeah, it was a Florida
these
machine.
things are
I think it was an AccuVote.
constantly happening. Absolutely. And this is not anything new, but I think a lot of people don't understand how easily it can be hacked.
They don't.
And so when the results are a little bit off, but not off enough to kind of, let people feel like, oh, this is entirely rigged, right? Then it's kind of hard to fight against it. And I just wanted, if anybody was at these polling centers and they were able to view the count, talk about it, say like, okay, yeah, I was able to view the hand count. I don't really know if the campaign actually did send people there because in other instances I've set the alarm off and it's been a whole thing, blah, blah, blah. And this time I was kind of like, I don't know, like, let me go through the proper chain of command and blah, blah, blah. But nothing really was done. I don't know what was done exactly.
And
so
we're overcomplicating the situation, just like what Chip Walter says on our MCSE network. He says even open source and blockchain tech will be susceptible to interference as technology progresses.
Yeah.
Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? Paper ballots, counted by hand in public,
like the way it was done in Hart's location.
Get a big ass clear box
Like in Hart's location.
that can have 2,000 votes. Literally, just pull one vote one by one, however long it takes. It doesn't matter.
Agree.
We have the funds to do it.
I agree.
How much millions of dollars did they put in for the new voting system? Wasn't it like $30 million or something like that?
In California, I think it was more than 30. I think it was like 50 million. And also too, with that, Johnny, though, there are other steps. It's like the UBI is not complete unless it has rent control. We need a national holiday too.
Exactly.
We need a national holiday so people have the time to go there, put them in ballot box, count them by hand. We're at that point. We have to
make
do that.
it a day.
Yeah.
Make a day of it. Have freaking food outside,
Something.
vendors, whatever.
But I'm gonna give the 0 because I watched The Big Short on the way to New Hampshire. I watched The Big Short back, and when he goes
so
0,
ridiculous.
we have
Did you
0.
watch this movie twice?
It's
It
important
is
about
a good
0.
movie, but
There is
geez.
0 states that have transparency in their elections. 0. We don't have a state that has open source completely. We don't have a state where there's completely just counting in public. I mean, it's just disgusting. Once again, election integrity has to be at the top of your list. And if you're a Bernie fan right now and you're not seeing this right now, because the whole ideology of Bernie Sanders is like, okay, they're going to shave, they're going to trim. But we got to be so overbearing like an avalanche that will do what just Trump did and beat him. Now, Trump, I don't think there was much election fugaziness when it came to Donald Trump. I think they used everything against him. The establishment turned against him.
Yep.
I didn't hear about a lot of irregularities because they usually save their shit for the general, where they kind of disenfranchise people of color and take their votes away, knowing that they mostly vote Democratic. But, once again, the avalanche was so big that Trump won. And like Kim Iverson said, the Republican Party didn't cheat him out of that nomination. He got the nomination. We don't feel safely that they'll do the same for Bernie Sanders. And that's
Nope.
something that's very, very scary, and we got to get on it. Election integrity needs to be number one, because whatever issue is more important to you, Green New Deal, Medicare for all, ending the regime change wars, if we don't get the right representation through the will of the people, through our votes, then we're never going to get what we deserve.
We're not going to elect Bernie. We're not going to elect anybody that...
That's just
It's
the God's honest truth. And digressing back to Iowa, fam, you have something to say.
Well, I just want to mention really quickly. I mean, we all knew this, right? But reportedly, the Iowa Democratic Caucus, the Iowa Democratic Party had direct ties to the DNC, which had direct ties to the Shadow app.
They made them use it.
Exactly. And so let me just read a little bit of this so you guys know. The Democrats' Iowa caucuses took place on February 3rd, but the outcome is still in question following a series of issues related to the failure of the app that was supposed to be used to submit the results. In the days since the debacle, Tom Perez has criticized the Iowa Democratic Party, which ran the caucuses, and the developer of the app, Shadow Inc. But an unaffiliated Democratic operative in Iowa provided Yahoo News with a copy of the contract between Shadow and the Iowa Democratic Party. The contract, which was signed on October 14th, 2019, refers to Shadow as the consultant, specified that the company had to work with the DNC and provide the National Party with access to its software testing.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like the Iowa Democratic Party went out there and said, "Oh, let's try this app, this company. Let's look at this company,
exactly.
that company, and we'll take the bid from the app that seems to be the most transparent and fair." No, the Democratic Party, the DNC from up top, Tom Perez says, "Guess what, Fiorella? You're going to use this app, and that's that."
I don't want to.
No, but that's what you have to. And that's why the chair just resigned. That's why the Iowa Democratic Party, the Iowa chair just resigned, and the Iowa Democratic Party wants to sue the DNC for forcing. Where's the one with his teeth, Johnny? I want his freaking teeth. His yellow ass teeth, that son of a bitch.
And here's the quote. It says, quote, "Consultant agrees to work with the DNC Services Corporation / Democratic National Committee, DNC, on an ongoing basis as consultant develops the software." This is a contract. So it's agrees with the DNC Services Corporation. The DNC Services Corporation. Just so you guys know that this is a corporation. And the contract also specifies that the Shadow agrees to provide, quote, DNC continual access to review the consultant's system configurations, security and systems logs, system designs, data flow designs, security controls, preventive and detective, and operational plans of how the consultant will use and run the software for informational dissemination, pre-registration, tabulation, and reporting throughout the caucus process. So they needed to have eyes on this whole thing and possibly inside look onto the security. How is this a democracy?
It's not.
Like, how? How is this even anything? How is this country, like, is this, people, stop lying to yourselves. This is ridiculous. This is disgusting that the DNC has so much play into how this whole thing, and they're over there acting like they're all innocent. Like they're innocent, like they had no idea. No, are you kidding me?
And it's just helping and elevating Donald Trump even more and more, because he's sitting back and just letting the Democratic Party do what they want to do.
And there's the agreement, Johnny. If you want to just show the agreement.
He's rolling through it right now. You know? And this is really just elevating Trump. It really is, ladies and gentlemen. And when he says there, you want these people to run the country, they can't even run a friggin' Iowa caucus over here.
Yep.
You're going to hand them the keys to the car? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? And they're making, the Democratic Party is causing so much damage that even if Bernie Sanders gets through this shit, he has such an uphill battle. Because really, to tell you the truth, with their nefarious, just criminal activities, and it's criminal, okay? Just because somebody goes to jail doesn't mean it's not criminal. Their criminal activities, they are elevating Donald Trump.
Yep.
They are elevating Donald Trump, fam. I was confident that if Bernie Sanders did make it through this here and he picks the right VP, that we got Trump. I'm not convinced now. I am not convinced, because he has attached himself and his wagon to that Democratic Party. I still wonder why. I wish he would have won third party, but he didn't. Whatever. Stop talking about it, pasta. But you're putting yourself in a position right now, Bernie Sanders, when you're attached to this, you're taking the baggage of the DNC with you. And here is the baggage. There's evidence of the baggage. And guess what, fam? It's just getting warmed up. It's going to get crazy now.
More importantly, though, is we need to stop this notion that Republicans are the only ones that are, cheating in elections. Like, it's very clear right now that the Democrats are equally, if not more, as are the ones that are rigging our elections. And they've already blamed Russia for this. They've already blamed Russia.
Somebody came out and said, look at the shadow app for Russia.
Some established from Democrats.
So Yeah, it's all Putin. Putin has no horse in this race. This is all the Democrats, and the guy they're trying to pass it off. The DNC communications director is trying to say that they only requested access to the tool because of security. Yeah, this is how they frame it. It's always security. It's all we need to aid and kill 1,000 people for security. For security.
Yeah.
It's always about security.
Video, right? Everything's for security.
Yeah.
I also remember seeing Juan Guaido getting a standing applause at the friggin'
State of the Union.
State of the Union,
Nancy
literally
Pelosi.
like Nancy Pelosi standing there and all them, clapping. That's why it's it's a tough situation.
So, just the AP has refused to name a winner, which is nice, even though the Iowa Democratic Party had said Pete Buttigieg edged out Sanders in delegates, while Sanders won the popular vote.
Which we haven't even talked about that. Where's the snake math? How is that working out? How does somebody get the popular vote, the final alignment, and still lose on delegates? Where's the snake math there? I don't understand it, but then I keep going back, and I'm like, fam, why are they flipping a coin in the precinct you just left? And you're like, what? It was 101 to 60. There's no way a coin toss even came into play.
Yeah.
We literally have 40% more.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. And yet they're doing a coin toss, which they never should have done. And they let people leave. And this whole thing was a cluster, you know what? And they're doing it in L.A. too. They're muddying the water so much. They're making things confusing. There's going to be technical breakdowns, mechanical breakdowns. It's going to be a shit show in L.A.
He said,
and I have a feeling Buttigieg's going to win.
Well, and Tom Perez said what happened tonight should never happen again, but it's going to happen again in Nevada because Nevada is run by the establishment elite. It's far worse than Iowa when it comes to that. We remember Nevada with the chairs and all that stuff.
Well, the one guy picked up the chair and they were like, stop, and he put it down and he started crying. Johnny, if you want to find that video real quick, just put Nevada caucus guy picks up chair. One Bernie guy, he went to go pick up a chair because they literally are sitting there and they're cheating.
Yeah.
They're literally going, okay, who opposes? And everybody's going, I oppose. And like, no one opposes, click, and hits it down.
Yeah.
And this guy gets so pissed up, he picks up a chair and his friends are like, no, the Bernie people are like, no. And he puts it down and he starts crying because he just realized this is fucking democracy at work here.
Yeah.
This is democracy at work. It is really, really bad. People lose their shit, and it sucks.
I'm going to lose my shit, fam.
Well, it's going to get really bad.
I'm going to throw 2 chairs at one time.
Michael Karasik, like Jurassic, Michael Carrick, tease a catch-22 if you're crazy enough to believe that an election is rigged and you're not crazy. But if you don't believe the election is rigged, you are crazy.
Yes, correct.
So wait, am I crazy, fam?
Fam, you are always crazy.
Boulder, Colorado needs help to get open source software from a company named MapLight to be the first direct democracy for petitions. Thank you, Joe Messino79. The Super Chat contribution is always appreciated on the couch.
Always.
Fam, who got your chocolates? Who got your flowers? Did anybody do that?
Fam, stop. We gotta go.
All right, let's get going.
we gotta do a shout out to our Revolution Democrats for Justice member party committee, county committee in the 41st Assembly District. Johnny has it.
There's a picture.
Okay,
here.
Johnny has it. Okay. Yeah. Jordan Vanini.
Can't say Italian names. Vanini.
Oh, stop. You say that I'm like, what is it? Exploiting you if I say...
Don't you want to taste it alive? See what it tastes like.
Oh my God, that's Nacho
Mindy
Libre.
Pfeiffer, my girl, she's going to make Johnny some fig jam. We shouldn't say that. She's buying your vote with a fig jam. Steve Gibson, who is just great. He's an awesome man.
He's a Bernie Sanders
and she does some work for us. If she's always helping out, looking to get us guests. He's great. Sean that what she said. And Susie
Abahian
and
Todd Jones.
Todd Jones.
He's fam.
Todd Jones, scientist.
Todd Jones is a rocket scientist, but a better one than Johnny. And he
actually got in there.
And he watches the CONVO Couch, and he's a member, and he loves us. And so shout out to Todd Jones, and shout out to Melissa Michelson for her donation to our GoFundMe. We love you.
Yes,
thank you guys.
Yeah. Vote for these people if you're in Pasadena. I don't know. They want us to do a shout out. Most of you guys don't live in our assembly district, but they're progressives trying to take over the corrupt LA Democratic Party, and I commend them because it's super corrupt.
Yeah,
like,
it's
crazy.
What's up, fan Gabriel Ramirez? What's going on, Bruce Straka, Scott Dakota? I wish I met you. Y'all are hanging on the Facebooks. And just little quick shout-outs. Thank you for the super chat contribution by 4. Jindo, Upstate Raider, Jilly Love, Slutchley, 100. Schultze, thank you. Shut up. Gray Walker, Fent for Tulsi.
Okay.
Rocky
William
Bellinger
Martyr.
was on ROKFIN.
This is supposed to be like a 20-minute live stream.
David
and
Crow says, Johnny, you are killing me with the Perez close-ups. That's Crow.
Ew, gross. Okay, guys, we gotta go.
Freedom Tribe, we love you as well. Thank you for your donation to the GoFundMe. And guys, if you get a chance, go on over to our GoFundMe. Johnny, get off that yellow. We gotta start doing that with Chuck Rocha. He's the other one next too. Johnny, put up our GoFundMe real quick, guys, if you can. Listen, guys, this is really helping us out. This is getting us where we need to go. We're 36% of the way there. We have a long way to go. There's only been 2 primaries, so you guys have been doing a great job, but we need to kick it up again, kick it on in. We got some places to go. After Nevada, there's South Carolina, and then we have California on the Super Tuesday. A lot of stuff going on. New York is late April, and early April is Hawaii, so we'll see what's going on. Hawaii. We'll say what's going on. Hawaii. Also, the ROKFIN, ROKFIN. If you haven't gone over there, Rocky Bellinger's over there, Michael's over there. There's 5 people watching, guys. We love you. Rocky, thank you for the endorsement. Guys, if you have $10, $9.99, endorse the Convo Couch. And remember, you can participate in this as well. You can go over and buy the Ray token on the Ethereum network and get some stuff for yourself and join in the whole cryptocurrency-based platform that keeps raising and raising.
Is it actually raising?
It's going up.
Okay,
Yeah, it's starting to go back up again.
It's going back.
So go back up.
So with just 2/3 of what we've raised so far, we've been able to send Fiorella to Iowa to be a live on-the-ground reporter with Tina.
Which worked really well.
And then we were able to send all of us to be in multiple different spots and bring you and look at polling locations and the first votes to be casted in the New Hampshire primary.
Yes, we did.
And now Nevada, we're also sending Fee, I think it looks like, and we're gonna have bodies on the ground for the precinct.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of journalists there.
Yeah.
And we're excited.
Next Saturday. It's always about the Saturdays, guys. We got next Saturday Nevada. We got Saturday after that South Carolina. So we got a couple Saturdays, and then we'll hit you in on the Tuesdays.
Oh God.
But right now, the next Saturdays in a row, we'll probably do a show tomorrow if we can. We got to see what's going on. But so Saturday, and Saturday. Be with us on Saturdays. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the primary, we're going to be streaming in the caucuses on the ROKFIN. That's why you got to just get signed up and get on over there. It is free to join up, but that's what we'll be streaming. And the next one, Fiorella, will be boots on the ground, and we're going to do the big streaming here again. Maybe it's 8 hours. We'll see if I can keep my energy up that much. And we'll get some special guests, and we'll get some information on what's going on. But it's really fun. So
I just want to say that I know for a fact that Nevada needs help with precinct captains, just like Iowa did. So if you can be a precinct captain for your progressive candidate, which we have 2 of in the race, go be a precinct captain.
Who are the 2?
Do I really need to say it?
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry.
And so go be a precinct captain, please.
What do you
do
want
that.
to go for Valentine's Day?
Fam, I'm not going it's almost midnight.
So Valentine's Day doesn't
I don't
stop.
celebrate this holiday, fam.
I don't celebrate.
It's a corporate
any of
holiday.
All of them are. What holiday's
You
not
guys,
a corporate
literally,
holiday?
no. This is a worse. They make people feel like they have to do something.
No.
And they have to go to a restaurant. And they have to buy nasty chocolate or an ugly stuffed animal to give to somebody. And that signifies love. You can share your love with someone every other day. And if you really want to share your love with me, make sure that these elections aren't rigged like they were in 2016. That's all I care about right now. No hugs.
See what I'm saying, guys? 'Cause no love on thing. Well, you want to show my love? Help us out on our Patreon or GoFundMe and some places.
That too.
Johnny, got anything else before we get out here for the night, buddy? All right, on the 1s and 2s, he's out for Pasta Jardula.
Fiorella.
Johnny Sue.
Peace.
Come out.
1s and 2s.
Good night.
Peace.